Hello everyone and welcome back to Odyssey Recaps, just the Tea edition. Today we're recapping book 23 of the Odyssey, which Emily Wilson has titled The Olive Tree Bed. Now guys, the last chapter was a lot. It was intense. So you might be relieved to hear that this is the penultimate chapter. That's right, only one more chapter left after this one. We are nearly there, guys. We're nearly at the end of our tale. Now, after all the gore and bloodshed of the last episode, I am thrilled to tell you that there is no mass murder in this chapter, so you can just sit back and relax. A bit. I mean, it is still the Odyssey, it is always intense. We start off in a very chill and normal way, with the elderly nanny slave chuckling with glee as she climbs the stairs to go and tell Penelope that her husband is back and the suitors are gone. Yeah, sure, they're gone because her husband and son did a mass murder, but let's look on the bright side here. So she wakes Penelope up and is like, "Wake up, babe, Odysseus is back, and he slaughtered all the suitors. Isn't that great?" Penelope, understandably, is like, "Girl, we need to take you to the doctor because you have lost it. Unless this is some weird, messed up prank, and that would be very bad if that's what this is. That would not be good for anyone." The nanny is like, "Oh, you're so silly. Odysseus is for reals here. He was disguised as that old, weirdly ripped beggar. Telemachus knew the whole time but was keeping it a secret for, strategy reasons. You get it." Now, our girl Penelope isn't going to just break out the lingerie and run downstairs to meet this beggar turned husband. Instead, she starts asking questions. She's like, "How could he single handedly murder 118 men?" And the slave is like, "I don't know. I was locked up, but I heard the screaming and I saw the entrails after. By the time I got on the scene, there were corpses everywhere. It was like House of Wax down there. And Odysseus was just standing there, surrounded by the corpses and covered in blood. It was so cool. Now he's doing cleanup and smudging the house, and he wants to see you. Come on, let's get down there." Penelope is like, "So that would be amazing if true, but there's just no way one guy could do all that. If they really are dead, it must have been a god punishing them or something." And then the nanny starts scolding her and accusing her of having a mistrustful heart. No, why would she believe this? It's insane. That's crazy. But then the nanny is all like, "I swear on my life it's true. You can kill me if I'm wrong." And Penelope is like, "Or I could just go check it out myself. We don't need to do more murders." Now, I'm starting to think there might be something wrong with Eurycleia, the nanny slave, because, she's a little too into this. I mean, the Dubro suitors were disgusting rapists, but I don't think you should be giggling about mass murder, no matter the circumstances. That just seems a little not right. Anyway, regardless, Penelope heads downstairs and sees Odysseus, who's standing kind of nervously by a pillar and waiting to see if Penelope is going to speak to him. And he's still dressed like a beggar, by the way. And so Penelope is like, "He sort of looks like my husband, but also not. I'm not 100% sure." Now Telemachus jumps in and he is also scolding her. He's like, "Why are you rejecting my dad? You're so cruel and heartless." And said that she has a heart as hard as a rock. Excuse me? This boy was not put in timeouts enough as a child. Penelope is like, "Bro, chill out. I'm just going to make sure it's really him first." And Odysseus is like, "Yeah, butt out, kid. Let her test me. Meanwhile, we really need to figure out what to do about these murders we did because we killed quite a few people. And some of them have families on the island who might be mad and want justice or whatever." Now, guys, this is why they say that when you set out on a journey of revenge, you must first dig 2 graves, just in case there are any witnesses. Telemachus is like, "Don't worry, Dad, you'll figure it out. You're the smartest guy ever." And Odysseus is like, "Okay, thank you, son, but go change your clothes. You're covered in evidence. And also take Swinebro and Cowbro with you. They're also got a little gore on them, all over." Then he orders the slave girls to also go change their clothes, and then he wants them to go and get the singer that he managed to stop from murdering in his relentless slaughter. And he wants them to get the singer and change the clothes and then all then they're going to force all the slaves to dance while the singer plays cheerful music so that anyone passing by will think it's a wedding and not come in or wonder where all the suitors are. And guys, it works. Good. I guess that's how they did weddings. No one was allowed to interrupt them. But this would have absolutely sucked for the poor traumatized slaves. Being forced to dance immediately after being forced to clean up a mass murder that included some of their, fellow slave girls. That's just diabolical, forcing them to dance. But anyway, regardless, it does work. People passing by think that Penelope has finally given in and picked a suitor to marry. And they're all like, "Oh, she's so weak. She couldn't hold out for her husband. Lame." Which, everyone was saying she was dumb for not giving in sooner to protect the wealth. There is no winning. We need justice for Penelope up in here. Anyway, Odysseus goes, has a bath, gets all oiled up, dresses in some nice clothes, and then Athena goes and does some more magic to make him look like a little extra sexy, which is unnecessary, but like nice, I guess. So then he goes back down, he sits down opposite Penelope, and he's like, ugh, you still don't recognize me? Whatever, I'm going to bed. Where can I sleep? And Penelope is like, time for my final test. And she tells the nanny slave to go and move their marriage bed into the hall and make it up for Odysseus to sleep on. And instantly, Odysseus is in a rage. He is like, move my bed? How the hell can she move my bed? I built that bed myself, and I built it with one of the bedposts being an actual tree, like in the ground. So how the hell can it be moved? Which man has come and chopped my tree bed down? Who has been in my bed, woman? Now, they do go into more detail about this like tree bed situation and how it all worked. But basically, the house used to have a courtyard with an olive tree growing in it, and Odysseus covered the courtyard and like renovated it into a bedroom. And then he trimmed the branches of the tree and sanded the olive tree down and made that one of the 4 bedposts of the bed he made. So like basically if they wanted to move the bed, they'd have to take the whole thing apart and destroy it. So as soon as Penelope hears him getting all mad about this, she is thrilled. She starts crying and she runs to him and she hugs him and she kisses his face and he's like, OMG, you passed the test. Don't be mad, baby girl. I had to make sure you weren't like a god in disguise or something. I've been surrounded by psychos and conmen. I had to make sure, but no one else knows about the bed, so it must be you. So they're hugging and kissing. Odysseus is crying and he's kissing her back, and we finally get that tear-free reunion that we've all been waiting for, and it is nice to see. Now, Odysseus and Penelope have a lot to talk about, but very little time. So Athena does them a solid and holds back the dawn so that they can just have like a little time freeze moment and can like talk at length. Now, the first thing Odysseus tells Penelope is, sadly, this isn't over because I have to go and do some more stuff, but we can, we can talk about that all tomorrow. And Penelope is like, no, let's talk about it now. And Odysseus is like, oh, you are so on top of it. And he tells her all about how when he went to the underworld, the prophet told him that he had to take an oar on a trip to the middle of a desert, and he had to find like people who had never seen the sea and are like chronically low on sodium, and then he has to do a sacrifice and then come home and do another sacrifice, and the sacrifice he has to do at home is like a hectocomb sacrifice, and they're a lot of effort, guys. Like a lot of effort. Anyway, that's the only way Poseidon's gonna stop trying to murder him. And Penelope's like, ugh, lame, but whatever. Gets Poseidon off your back, I guess. We do live on an island. The sea is like literally all around us. Then they talk long into the night, and the rest of the household goes to sleep, but they stay up and chat and make out and chat some more. And Odysseus tells her about everything he saw on his trip and all the murders and war crimes he did. And then when they're all talked out and have slept, Athena, who has been watching all this, not creepy at all, decides that they've had enough reunioning and lets the day finally break. Odysseus gets up, straps his armor on, and tells Penelope that she has to go back to being a single mom for a bit because he has to go and do some light piracy to replace all the sheep and gold that the suitors stole from them. But first he's going to go and see his grieving father and then figure out how to deal with the families of all the suitors he murdered and, that whole situation. And he tells her to just go sit quietly upstairs and wait for him to come back. Although, you know what? She deserves a break. She didn't do any murdering. He can deal with the consequences of that. She can just go and finally enjoy her house free of dude bros. So Odysseus just leaves her there, and he heads downstairs to find Telemachus and Cowbro and Swinebro, and they also all get armored up, and then they all leave together to go and find Odysseus's dad, Laertes. And Athena helpfully cloaks them like magically so that no one can see them as they sneak through the town. And that's where our chapter ends. Join us next time for chapter 24, which is our last chapter. I will see you there, guys.